Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the House of Kayfabe. And today we are talking about CM Punk, or what's left of the memory of CM Punk. I am here with Steven Barker and Adam Harris, and I never really wanted to make this video. I really, it's been a while since I made a video. I did take part in the birthing of a child. That happened, and now my seed walks the earth along.
Bravo! Applause! Huge
Mazel
applause.
tov, mazel.
Thank you very much, and that
Your
has
wife
kept
did
me
all the
away
work?
from videos. She did do a lot of the work in the
Significant
birthing,
amount.
a significant amount, but I was there for moral support and the occasional gopher. But either way, I am back, and I'm back at a time when I didn't really want to talk about this. I don't want to sit around and talk about how Tony Khan may have made the biggest mistake of his wrestling promoter career. I don't want to talk about the stake in the heart of AEW that may be the beginning of the end for something that I really wanted to see happen. There's not much to say here, but I will set it up before I get an actual opinion out of either one of you. I want to set it up, and I want to say that we know that CM Punk had his issues with the Elite. That was never actually settled. And I would like to, one, put it on the record that I think that is the beginning of this problem, is the fact that they never settled the first problem and thought it was just going to go away. It'll never go away. You have to confront things like that. However, we've seen the issue happen with the Elite. They were able to at least get past it enough to create Collision, because TNT said, hey, we'll give you more money and we'll give you another TV show if you could just do business like we talked about in a previous video. Just go to work, CM Punk. Just go to work, the Elite, and have this Collision show. And we got Collision, and then it's time for All In. And All In is going to be the biggest show in the world. And, it lived up to the hype. 83,000 paid fans is a big number. And you have CM Punk. Now, CM Punk, I'll get into more of this later, but CM Punk is the biggest draw in the company. By far. It doesn't matter what your opinion is of CM Punk.
No question.
CM Punk is the biggest draw in the company. And we set up a meeting in Atlanta with the Elite. The Elite and CM Punk are going to meet and hash all of this out. So CM Punk goes to Atlanta, and the Elite canceled the meeting. Then CM Punk goes to the UK, and no one even picks him up from the airport. He has to rely on fans to actually get to the location of where he's going, because he has no help from AEW. Now, already we're starting this whole thing out with a lot of disrespect toward the biggest draw in the company. I know there's a lot of people talking about CM Punk right now being ungrateful, but this is the biggest draw in the company. He can't even get a ride to Wembley. He gets there. He has an altercation with Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy, of all people, has an altercation with CM Punk that ends in Jungle Boy getting choked. And now Jungle Boy is suspended and CM Punk is fired. He has been terminated from the company because Tony Khan feared for his safety, feared for his well-being, and feared for his life. Now, that's where we're at, gentlemen, and I can't wait to just pitch it over to Steven Barker. Steven Barker, if you were Tony Khan and you were faced with this situation where Luke Perry from 90210's son has got into an altercation with your biggest draw, and they have had a physical bout in the locker room,
Well, see, I couldn't do this cosplay because I have testosterone. That's the difference between me and Tony Khan. Now, he has billions, but he obviously eats too much soy. This is such a generational thing. That generation. I know that I'm going to sound like the get off my lawn guy, and I'm cool with that. I'm in that part of my life right now. This is a generation who has been told, and they were raised by my generation, so it's our fault, that everything you think is okay, and let's just try to get along, and let's not butt any heads, and let's not hurt anyone's feelings. That's the number one thing. You know, in my real life, I'm a musician, and another part of my life, I was a touring musician, and I was able to be lucky enough to play on festivals and on stages with some of the most famous people in the world. And there was a time I was playing in Pennsylvania. I can't remember where, Acme, Pennsylvania, actually. And we were on the same bill as George Clinton and P-Funk. Well, I went into the green room and I grabbed a bottle of vodka, and I was sternly told that that is George Clinton's vodka. And you know what I said? Yeah, that's George Clinton's vodka, because I'm on at 2 p.m. and he's on last. And that's the problem with Jack Perry. He doesn't fucking know he doesn't know his place. That's the number one thing. Fuck Jack Perry. He's a joke. He's a fair to middling talent. Adam, I know you want to be mean, so I'm going to do it for you. This guy needs to know his place. You are on the untelevised, on the pay-per-view opener. Shut your mouth. And the fact that it was over real glass, what are we talking about here? We're talking about some nobody wanting to use glass. CM Punk was trying to make Collision into something that was better than Dynamite. The way that you do that is not use real glass in spots. So CM Punk, he's exactly my age, so I know where he's coming from. He's aggravated from going all the way to fucking Atlanta to have the Elite, pull out of that meeting. He goes to the UK. No one's there. Adam Harris has spent a good portion of his career picking up wrestlers from airports, and they're always very glad when you're there.
Even Gary Damron sends somebody to the airport, guys.
You know what I mean? ASW got you. And then he goes there, and Jack Perry talks out of turn before he's about to go out. And this is what sucks about all of this. Samoa Joe and fucking CM Punk in front of 83 fucking thousand as a Ring of Honor old school mark. This should be goosebump shit. That should what we be talking about right now, is how great of a match it was. But because Tony Khan is a feckless pussy, we are now talking about CM Punk being gone, and I don't give a fuck about AEW anymore. FTR will be gone soon anyway. What AEW will be if it lasts for any amount of time, and let's be honest, there's enough money to keep it going for as long as Tony Khan can keep his Adderall prescription filled. They're just going to be the minor leagues for NXT. MJF is going to go to WWE. Ricky Starks is going to go to the WWE. Let's just call it what it is. AEW nerds, you fucking are cringy, suck-ass pussies, just like Tony Khan is. I'm pissed. Like, Collision was the one of two
Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Those of you who
they were the one of two shows that I watched
for those
regularly.
For those of you who are watching who are AEW fans, please know that I too am an AEW fan. And to be fair, Stephen Barker, you have never really been an AEW fan.
How could you? I like good wrestling.
What you are doing right now is you are riding the lightning. And I understand that, because this is one time when I feel as if you are partially correct. Now, do I think that all AEW fans are cringy pussies? Not all of them. And
what would you guess of the percentage? Would you guess a percentage
or
the people we're talking about?
Well, I will tell you this. I've been to AEW shows, a lot of them. Since moving to Florida, I've been to a ton of AEW shows, and the AEW fans are unlike any other group of fans that I've ever been around. And sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that's a bad thing. Either way, the point is, Tony Khan made a mistake. And the big mistake here, it's just like WCW. CM Punk is Hulk Hogan in 1994. Okay? Have you ever heard the term, that doesn't work for me, brother? Well, Hulk Hogan made an entire season and career out of that term. And you know what? It worked for him because he was the draw. When he showed up in WCW, he was the one. And if anyone, you think that everyone was just in open arms, glad to see Hogan showing up? I'm sure they were not. I'm sure they were in the majority not in favor of bringing Hogan in. But guess whose opinion didn't matter? Anyone's opinion that wasn't worth millions of dollars. And the opinion that was worth millions of dollars is we sign Hogan, we go to the next stratosphere. And the next stratosphere for AEW was right around the corner. All they had to do was make this work. All they had to do was get Kenny Omega and CM Punk in a wrestling ring. And it should have happened at Wembley Stadium. Yes, Samoa Joe versus CM Punk was amazing, but CM Punk versus Kenny Omega at Wembley, you wanted you had the biggest wrestling show of all time because the UK is literally starved for an event. However, did you put on an 83,000 fan type of event?
No,
you did not. No, you did not. You had Kenny Omega in a 6-man tag. It's like you have all the ingredients for the greatest feast ever cooked, and you are burning the turkey on this one because CM Punk is your Hulk Hogan, and you just let your Hulk Hogan go back to the WWE.
For somebody, for 3 wrestlers, that Kenny Omega is a legitimate huge star in Japan. And for like super indie types, Kenny Omega is the Hulk Hogan of the super indie types. The Bolas, the guys that post about, oh, we're going to, watch PWG tonight. But they are niche. They are the Neutral Milk Hotel. I'm going to do a lot of music analogies today. There's a small group of people, and if you all don't fucking believe me, and we're going to get Adam in here, go Google Trends, CM Punk, Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and let's just see the lines of what people look for online. And you will see that you are being run by people who wouldn't even be a draw in NXT. Adam, am I right?
I thought this might be the video where I get to say nothing at all.
I'm so pissed off about this. I'm legitimately
I don't think
mad.
I can say anything that was more rewarding than my utter silence. I agree with you guys.
Do you like the Young Bucks?
No, not really. Well, and here's what I'm thinking is like, you're right. CM Punk, this is your moment. Like, this is where you get your television to the next level. But so far, it's been Jericho. It's been Omega. It's been now CM Punk. And where are the stars they're supposed to be building? Where's their undercard that should be working their way to the top now?
They're busy bitching about Real Glass and Crimea River and starting to fight with the biggest draw. Because what you said about Jungle Boy, I don't agree with. I think Jungle Boy is a talented individual. He would have a Luke Perry haircut right now and be Hollywood Jack Perry.
Have you ever heard him talk? Have you heard him promo? It's the worst in the business. Me and Adam saw one live, and it was fucking terrible. It was the worst. It made the worst indie promo at your favorite indie sound like Hulk Hogan. He's terrible.
Can I remind you of a young AJ Styles?
He ain't AJ Styles. Stop it. I'm out of here.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying that he is AJ Styles, but I will tell you that the greatest wrestler in the modern era, AJ Styles, was a terrible promo.
He was also having some great matches and was one of the best wrestlers. Jack Perry is not. Jack Perry does bad Mexican wrestling.
I understand that you are upset with Jack Perry over what happened, and I am too. I think Jack Perry is immature. I think Jack Perry is not on the level that he should be, but I do think Jack Perry has a value. Now, does he have a value over CM Punk? No. And I was making this point earlier that if I'm Tony Khan, if anyone in my company, including Chris Jericho, including Kenny Omega, including Bryan Danielson, Everybody, out of everybody in my company, if anybody has a problem with CM Punk, I'm sorry, we can't do business. This is my draw. This is my Hulk Hogan. This is my shot at actually having a legit company that people care about, and people more than the guys you were talking about. I'm talking about all wrestling fans are interested to see what you're going to do with CM Punk. You got the golden goose and you couldn't make it lay eggs. It makes zero sense to me how you could not make this work. And how do we get to a point where the elite can even cancel a meeting with CM Punk? How do we get to a point where CM Punk doesn't get picked up from the airport? How do we get to a point where CM Punk is even in the same area as Jungle Boy backstage? I don't understand this. This wouldn't happen to John Cena. This wouldn't happen to Roman Reigns. This wouldn't happen to Hulk Hogan. And it didn't happen to Hulk Hogan. And it shouldn't be happening to CM Punk. Now, for me, all this conversation is about really, and I mean, of course, we're going to talk more about him leaving AEW, but really the conversation is the WWE going to make him an offer? Is he going to take that offer? And now that there's no reason for that offer to be huge and gigantic to pull him from AEW, will that keep there from being an offer that actually works?
I don't really see CM Punk going back to WWE, but we'll see. I don't know if he loves the business that much. He might be fine to just sit at home. But now, it would rub it in the face. It would be salt in the wounds, wouldn't it? That Cody Rhodes comes back, and then 2 years later, we get CM Punk back in the WWE. But I also think he can't help himself. I feel like he would piss the WWE off too, even if it came that far. Maybe not. But that's. Let
me ask you a question, Adam. The fire that is going to be inside of CM Punk to have a live mic in a wrestling ring on national television. Is that fire?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. But I don't think the WWE cares.
Look, man, the WWE got back in business with the Ultimate Warrior and Jeff Jarrett.
That's true.
Who held them up for both of them? I think combined held them up for like $1 million in one night. If they can bury that hatchet, they can do business with CM Punk. And I think that Triple H is petty enough. And Adam, I think you'll agree with me here. I think Triple H is petty enough to take his toys, is to put it in Tony Khan's face. Because I think Brian said it, or somebody said that, like, CM Punk needs, because again, he's 46, he's my age. He needs a 2-year run. He needs to come do business with Roman Reigns. He needs to come do business with Cody Rhodes. And then he can go off to the WWE Hall of Fame. And that would be better in the long run. And we do know for sure, and it's already out there, that the last time that he almost left AEW, that he was in talks with Triple H. I think that he's the guy that is, he's getting older. He wants to solidify a legacy. But here's something I think that no one's talked about. When we try around in House of Kayfabe to have perspectives that not every 75,000 other podcasts do, CM Punk just got paid millions of dollars, and did he wrestle more than 20 times?
Oh, shoot.
I don't think so.
I don't think he did.
Even a dozen?
I don't think it's a dozen.
That's another thing is, you really know the difference between a businessman and someone who's never had to be a businessman. There's no ROI there whatsoever. You just threw all that away as if it was nothing, as if it wasn't a big stain on the company. Now, I'm a supporter of AEW. I want to see AEW do well. I'm a supporter of Jack Perry. You were asking Adam Harris a minute ago, does he like the Bucks? I like the Bucks. I love Kenny Omega.
I like him. I'm okay with Kenny Omega.
I'm fans of all these people. Like, I think all of these people could be great. I believe, and I'm sure a lot of people already think they are great, but until you can do business better than what you're doing, you're not great. You're not great. You couldn't even show up at a meeting. You're not a business person. You are a tremendous wrestler and the worst EVPs.
I think one of the key ingredients is also that entitlement that apparently comes, like when you're Jungle Boy and you hang out with the elite and you feel like you're safe.
And they
Politics.
He shouldn't.
It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. And if you're going to fire him, I say fire both. You know, I mean, that's the other thing. Is like, how can you just suspend one and not the other?
You
Jack
know
Perry
why
is suspended indefinitely.
Well, I don't want to see anybody get fired. I didn't want to see CM Punk get fired. I don't want to see Jungle Boy get fired. But if they both got fired and the WWE hired both of them and then showed Tony Khan what you do in a situation like that and make them work together, that would be the most beautiful ending to this fucking terrible story.
Yeah. Vince might finally retire after that. Be like, yep, that's it.
I did it.
You know, Adam works for a lot of.
I bought my competition.
Adam works for a lot of excellent indie promotions around here. And I bet you on the regular, you see better leadership in the locker room at shows that are run right down the street than what we're seeing from Tony Khan.
Here's what I'll say is that the most frightening thing I read, that I have no idea whether it's true or not, but the most frightening thing I read or heard was that they were scrambling because maybe CM Punk was not going to go out first on the pay-per-view. And they were scrambling to say, who's ready? You know, the altercation happens, all this goes down, and Punk's not ready to go out, but they're supposed to start the pay-per-view. And that's the part that I can relate to most as both an event producer and having been, you know, the ring announcer who it's like, I'll go whenever you guys are ready to tell me to go, you know, like how we've been waiting this long or whatever, you know, it's just like, are we ready? No, not yet, not yet. And so if they were actually asking around trying to find another match to go on first, that gets my utmost sympathy from a programming standpoint, is just trying to be like, and to ask that of people, you know, and to say, well, I guess, and some allegedly said, well, I guess we can, but then it allegedly resolved itself. Again, I don't know if that story is true or not, but you got to have a certain amount of leadership, and there needs to be a big dog. And, you know, I agree with you guys as far as like his position in the company should be that of a more touchless. You can't touch that guy. In other words, no matter what, he's going to get his way. But if he's, I don't know, I can see it being problematic if he's going to handle things that way, even though it's wrestling and we're supposed to handle things like tough guys, you know. I still think there's a way to do business, you know, and keep it in the ring. That's what I would hope for, at least from my guys, if I was working on top.
Just to add to that, really, you know, I don't want to sit here and be like the Elite is wrong, Tony Khan's wrong, and Jungle Boy's wrong. CM Punk's wrong too. Yeah. No doubt about it. CM Punk has a lack of emotional intelligence, and it's keeping him from being able to do business.
I don't see it that way.
He's not the only one.
I don't see it that way. I don't think that's true at all, because, man, that guy like operated under horrendous conditions, you know, to him in the WWE, and did it
minded his P's and Q's, and he minded his P's and Q's
because everybody else in the business was working professionally. He didn't have to put up with fucking 3 EVPs and the lawyer busting into his locker room. Let's not forget about the fucking first thing, the brawl out. All right, the brawl out
last year.
That would have never happened in the WWE. And you know, this is how fucked this situation is. This is the first time I have ever agreed with Vince Russo. Vince Russo put out a tweet that basically said, shit like this sometimes happens, and it stays in the locker room. He even told a story about Luna Vachon basically running through Vince Russo, which I'd pay money to see that, to get at Sonny, which makes that sounds like a thing that probably happened. Sure. And you know, it's just put it like if you watch Hard Knocks on HBO Max, there's fights every day between teammates who are getting paid millions and millions of dollars to go to war together to, you know, operate under some way to get a common goal accomplished. And they just fight, and then they keep playing. This is generational. I know I sound like an old man, but this is generational. This is people like Jack Perry and fucking the Young Bucks, who are millennials. And there's another one I'm going to drop on you here as well. These are people who have always, from their parents to their teachers, to everyone else, that your feelings matter and you're an important boy. And then CM Punk came in and he's the man, and they couldn't deal with it. We're forgetting that he got jumped by 3 EVPs. Brian Resner, would you ever be jumped by the executive vice president of the company you work for? Adam Harris is the executive vice president for the company he works for, and he would never run into the fucking locker room and start a fight. This shit is playtime.
Wait, okay. So I agree with everything you said, except for CM Punk should have more emotional intelligence. He shouldn't be attacking Jack Perry, regardless of what Jack Perry says or does. If Jack Perry would have attacked him, it would have been a different story.
We don't know. We don't know what happened.
From what I understand, he shoved Jack Perry. Jack Perry got in his face. Then he choked Jack Perry out. From what I understand, Jack Perry never actually hit CM Punk at all. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I've been told.
Yeah, none of us were there.
Yeah, we weren't there.
You're right. We weren't there. But I do know that emotional intelligence would keep him from having issues like this. And honestly, emotional intelligence would keep him from saying the things he said at the media scrum last year.
Mm-hmm.
He is not completely out of the wrong box here. I mean, he's just not. But it doesn't matter because he's CM Punk. And if you fire CM Punk, you should have, CM Punk being fired should have came with like some really bad allegations or something. Not this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man,
Marty Scurll can't even find work.
Yeah, no shit. We're fucking forgetting the long history of diva behavior when you're the draw. You're all Shawn Michaels fans. He's done way worse than what CM Punk has ever done in the backstage area.
Well, and that's the thing is, if we would have heard about it, would we have heard about this in the WWE if it happened today? Like anything, well, first of all, no VPs are going to be busting in, obviously. But if there were like a backstage altercation, don't you think the WWE would do a good job of just squashing that? It's not getting out. Nobody's going to talk about this.
It would come out at the Dark Side.
It certainly
of the Ring
wouldn't take over their
15 years from
pay-per-view. You know, it certainly,
No.
First of
it certainly
all, to have
wouldn't be outshadow their pay-per-view.
To have a position of the caliber of EVP in the WWE, you literally have to sleep with the boss's daughter. You do not get that just for being my favorite wrestler in Japan. You don't get that.
Well, and then also to be serious, because that is funny. That is a good point.
With 5 EVPs.
It is a good point. But also, if you know anything about the WWE goings-ons behind the scenes, those people who are actually in the office are proven professionals from professional sports teams and from major networks and from streaming places. These are people with a fucking resume in the business that they're supposed to be in. This all goes down to a billionaire Mark who wants to be friends with the boys, and he doesn't want to be hurt. He doesn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. This is all Tony. Again, Vince Russo being correct. Tony Khan is the almighty reason that this is all happening. Vince McMahon
said something that's never been said before. You just said again, Vince Russo is correct.
Jim Cornette
said on all podcasts.
Jim Cornette should do an episode or a quick video with Brian Last reading that, and Jim Cornette just be like, God damn it, he's right. Because he is. If this shit would have happened with Vince McMahon, it would have stopped a long time ago. Everything from the brawl in, dude. Even what Vince Russo said.
The brawl in. No, it would never have gotten to the brawl in. Like you would never have a disgruntled CM Punk sitting there eating donuts.
Vince Russo, who got buried for an hour in Dark Side of the Ring by Eric Bischoff, actually said, "You know what Tony Khan should do? Hire Eric Bischoff because he don't give a fuck to be the villain in the locker room. He needs his own diesel. He needs a heavy because he's too big of a pussy to do anything because he wants to be friends with everybody."
Why does Punk care that much about the glass? And why does it have to get to Punk? I mean, apparently everybody else vetoed it. And so that's on Jungle Boy. Like if all these people are telling you no and you still want to do it, again, it goes back to the entitlement of hanging with the young buds. That's what I think. But, if I'm CM Punk and I'm the top guy, and there's going to be glass on the program, I don't give a shit.
No, right.
I don't give a shit.
I don't care either. As long as it's not my match, I don't.
Are you coming to me with this? Is what I would say. Are you really coming to me with this? You can't tell Jungle Boy not to use glass?
Well, I think
Who are you, Brett Lauderdale?
I think that what CM Punk was trying to do was clean up the program.
I get it. But there's going to be so many programs.
You're right.
And this is the other thing I love about all this is how many backstage assaults have happened on AEW television. And
And
nothing's ever been
said.
said about it. Nobody gets consequences or anything like that. But yet it's the backstage ones that apparently are big enough to fire your biggest superstar. And that's not a new narrative. I didn't make that up. I mean, a lot of people are going to say that because it happens every week on both products, not just AEW.
True.
Backstage assaults, we've been grown. We're tired of them now, but yet we're all just looking for that one that feels real and that one that we could buy a little bit of believability. And unfortunately, we're not going to get it from the Brawl Out last year. And I don't think we're going to get it from the Brawl Out this year.
Here's the main problem is this video. And so many videos of people who make these podcasts like we do, very few were talking about the actual event.
No.
Nobody has talked about the event except for the people who are on the payroll, Brian Alvarez, Dave fucking Meltzer, who may have a little something in the mail in the future. So that's the big thing is this guy has fucked up so bad. And boy, let's talk about England for a second. If you had some money in England, Brian Resner, let's do it to you, former promoter. If you just saw a show get sold out at Wembley Stadium with not one match fucking being announced, aren't you starting a promotion because they're starved for wrestling in England?
Well, absolutely. Yeah, I agree 100%, but I don't understand why the WWE hasn't already announced that the next WrestleMania after this next one's going to be in Wembley. Because I mean, Wembley deserves WrestleMania at this point. If they're going to put 83,000 people in there to see that, then WrestleMania, shit, you're going to have to build on to Wembley Stadium for
Just
that.
wait till you get Goldberg's return, brother.
Oh, here I've got one for you. Excuse me. Now we are seeing a bit of a PR smear campaign that's obviously coming from AEW. Specifically, the tweet about how CM Punk disrespected William Regal, and to William Regal's face said that he knew that he was a Triple H stooge. I do not believe that. I could be wrong, but I don't believe it. But we do know that there now is a PR campaign against CM Punk. We're going to see more of this. We're going to see more of this stuff. I was wondering, and this is just me playing devil's advocate. We know that the Young Bucks are Christian and conservative, very much so, according to their own book. They are very heavily on one side of the political ideology. Now, you can think what you want to about that side. We also know that CM Punk, by his own volition, has done pro-choice T-shirts. He has done support trans kids messages before his matches. Anyone else beside me think that that's another reason why the Young Bucks don't like CM Punk all that much?
Well, and he also did the whole gimmick in WWE about being the savior or whatever, right? He had disciples and all that, and Christians, they don't like that stuff.
They don't take too kindly.
Yeah.
Man, that stuff was so good, though.
It was.
That was great stuff.
It was Serena Deeb, man.
Serena Deeb and Luke Gallows, man.
Yeah,
he saved Festus.
Really, I think that's the turning point of CM Punk's career from when he went from being a Jungle Boy type to an actual star.
I don't know about that, but yeah, I mean, it was definitely showed some depth.
Jungle Boy, he was great in Ring of Honor.
I was going to say he was a long way from being Jungle Boy.
I understand that you guys are not Jungle Boy fans, but the point is the reason, one of the points I was going to make earlier is the reason why you never heard about this stuff with CM Punk and the WWE is because what's CM Punk going to do? Go start a fist fight with The Undertaker? No. Yeah. No, the reason why he didn't have those type of fights is because he was the Jungle Boy in that situation, except for he was smart enough to keep his fucking mouth shut.
If you're CM Punk, man, who should you have had rolling backstage with you to keep this from happening? Like who backstage should be watching out for CM Punk? Like, shouldn't he have that guy? Like, shouldn't there be that guy?
He shouldn't need it.
They have Brandon Cutler.
Oh God,
who's getting an action figure, by the way.
Dude, did you all see? And we got to wrap this up. Mark Henry was on Bully Ray's podcast, or actually it's a radio show. I think it's actually broadcast on radio. And he very much was like, well, okay, CM Punk's gone. We're probably not going to have any more problems, right? And was very sarcastic. It was very dude. I couldn't believe Mark Henry was being so savvy.
Interesting.
He was like, "Look,
yeah,
the cancer's gone."
Well, and
When
he's
I go
still on the
into
payroll,
work-
right? Is he still
Yeah,
working?
Mark
for
Henry still works
AEW?
there, but Mark Henry is
Damn.
also don't give a shit because he don't have to.
Yeah,
But Mark
yeah.
Henry very much with tongue in cheek was like, "I guess we're not going to hear anything else about dirt sheets and problems in the back.
Yeah,
Everything's going to be okay."
Wouldn't
And it's a great segment.
Can't you just imagine Tony Khan calling Mark Henry? Mark, yeah, shouldn't be talking like that on Busted Open Radio.
I don't give a fuck.
And he'd body slam him.
Yeah,
You in the Hall of Pain.
Oh, dude, Mark Henry has eaten meals bigger than Tony Khan. Get the fuck out of here.
Definitely.
Well, this has been a great conversation about CM Punk. It's a somber event because, of course, we didn't want it to end this way, but it has. And now it opens up the door to a future in the WWE. And I say that giving us hope when really we probably just will never see him again. And I really don't want to say that, but, experience is experience. And I don't expect a whole lot out of Phil Brooks, even though I support him 110%. I want the greatest for him, but I just don't know if we'll ever get there. We can cross our fingers and hope for a CM Punk versus Seth Rollins and CM Punk versus Roman Reigns and CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes, all in a WWE ring.
Night, yeah,
LA
son.
Night,
CM Punk. I can't wait for all of that, and I've got my fingers crossed, and I'm manifesting as hard as I possibly can.
Well, before we go, hold on. Before we go, just you saying that. Just you saying those names together tells us the whole point. Let me do word association. CM Punk and Roman Reigns. CM Punk.
Cha-ching.
And Jungle Boy, Jack Perry. CM Punk and Cody fucking Rhodes. Or CM Punk and, I don't know, Ricky Starks. You know what I mean?
Even though I like that match.
I love those guys. I love those matches. Those aren't big money, man. I think CM Punk is going to come back to WWE. There's a little sticky non-compete clause they got to figure out. And if Joe Biden would get off his ass, he actually said that he was going to get rid and make illegal non-compete clauses. There's a little something extra for you. He's got to come back. He's got to go about a 2-year run because he's breaking down. Let's be honest. He was hurt more than he wasn't the whole time he was in AEW.
I thought there wasn't a non-compete.
It's up in the air.
Yeah, I thought that Tony Khan got asked about that and had a really awkward look on his face and didn't answer it.
Yeah, it's actually up in the air. But yeah, wrap us up, Brian Resner.
Well, either way, when I seen the look on Tony Khan's face that he didn't actually have a plan in place when he fired this guy, I had to chuckle to myself and just hope for a WWE run. For Stephen Parker and for Adam Harris, I'm Brian Resner, and you